Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Growwithniki, and in this video I'm going to talk about my teaching practicum. Let me tell you, this is going to be a long video. I don't know how many minutes. It might be 50 minutes long, 20 minutes long. I don't know how long, but I know I might not want to sit down to watch the whole thing, but for those of you, okay. For those of you who have been following me here on YouTube for a good while, I don't know, in 2015 I applied to go to Teachers College because, you know, I wanted to be a trained teacher. I wanted to increase my salary and so on, and maybe stick with the profession, right? So I applied to Teachers College. I got accepted after I got rejected. So I went to Teachers College in 2015, and obviously I will be graduating in June. So it's a 2-year program. So in order to graduate, you have to complete you have to pass everything because it's a degree. So you have to pass everything, and you have to pass the teaching practicum successfully. And the teaching practicum is also what we call practice teaching and so on, where you have to go into the classroom and you apply what was taught to you at the college. You apply, you know, all those strategies and things that they taught you how to, you know. I majored in business studies because, you know, I'm a businesswoman. So I majored in business studies, and my minor was social studies. I taught business studies at the Form 4, and I taught Form 2 social studies because that was my minor and that required little. Now, my experience in teaching practicum, it was full with ups and downs, of course, but that is not really how I planned, you know. I was expecting it to go smoothly, but it did not go smoothly. But it was a learning experience because I got to learn a lot of things from the students. It had a lot of challenges, mishaps, challenges, a lot of aha moments that make you be like, oh yeah, yes, I'm doing something. Okay, so I'm gonna share some of these moments with you. I hope that you guys enjoy this video. Okay, now I went to a secondary school. It was a secondary school I did my practicum at, by the way, obviously, because I'm specializing in content areas. So the secondary school is like not so far from me. It's in the rural area. So yes, all right, so I'm telling a little about the schools. Okay, so the school is in a rural area. If the students are not, you know, like high flyers, like maybe like other schools or so on. So they're not high flyers. They read like below their levels, below their grade levels, and they have a lot of behavioral problems. Now that didn't matter me because I was saying to myself, it can't be that bad. Okay, so then I went to the class. So my first day, I started the 29th of January. So on the first day, which was a Monday, I said to my cooperating teacher, I'm not going to teach today. I'm just going to the class and I'm just going to introduce myself to my students, tell them my expectation for the 10 weeks so they can get this straight. Okay, so I did just that, and that went smoothly. They introduced themselves to me, although I knew them before because a couple of months before I was there on observation. So they introduced themselves, I introduced myself, tell them a little about me, you know, what I stand for, my expectations, and what my classes are going to be like. Second, I went back to one of my business classes now. The students, my cooperating teacher wasn't there, so the students were, it took me a very long time to settle down the class because I don't know what happened to those students. They were taking so long to settle down. They were aggressive towards each other. I tried all the strategies I learned at Teachers College. We settled down, pick me them, and nothing worked. So I'm like, you know what? Let me use my own thing. So I do what I had to do and get them shut up. Alright, so yes, I got them set up, shut up. I had my class went alright with a little bumps because some of them were still aggressive. Somebody said something to that and that one, they weren't aggressive towards me, but they were aggressive to each other. But I still felt, you know, like disrespected because I was there. But my class went well, okay? And the next day, my cooperating teacher, she was like, so Miss John, how was the class? I was like, the class was terrible, like did not go how I planned. And then she went to the class, she talked to them, whatever. She came back and she was like, oh Miss John, they told me that they were just doing for you. So maybe they thought that my assessor was going to come there to assess me, so they were doing for me. You know, they were doing it for me according to them. But I don't mind. I do for them. I do for them, yo. Alright, so next point is I learned a lot about my students. I got to know my students, and not really personally, well, I got to know them personally too, of course, but I got to know them like academical. Like, that is what I wanted to know about them, and you know, so that I can know how to deliver my lessons, because I didn't want to deliver it one way all the time. I just come yap all the time, or give them this to read all the time. No, you have to cater to all the students' needs, because all the students in the class wants reading at the same level and so on. So I want to give everybody a handout to read. Some people will have handouts, some people will have other things, and so on, you know, differentiated instruction, because one size don't fit all according to those people at Teachers College. Okay, so I had to do that in order to cater to all of my students' needs. I had to get to know my students. So while role play might work for one class, because I used role play a lot and dramatization in Form 2, those students loved it. Okay, for social studies, but for Form 4 now, those students thought that, oh, I'm too big for that, miss. That is for little kids. I can't role play. So I had to use different things that will make them still interested in the lesson and still, you know, thing and so on. So I had to use things like presentation, panel discussion. I love panel discussions for sure. Okay, so I got them to talk. My main goal was to get them to talk, because some of them don't talk. Okay, another thing I did was to listen to them. Some of them, and one thing I love about those students, they are straight up. If they have anything to tell you, they're telling you straight up. Okay, so what I learned, I had to listen to them, and they told me straight up. One of the students said, miss, I'm not accustomed to raising my hand before I answer a question, because I don't like distractions. Okay, so I make sure I ask them to raise their hand before you answer questions. The students was like straight up, miss, we're not accustomed to do that. Okay, we custom shout out answers. I'm like, so okay, so I'm like, all right. But I had to get them to raise their hands. Okay, you know, you could do rewards and so, but I didn't offer any rewards or anything. The only rewards I gave was the marks that they received, that they had to get. Okay, so I had to find ways to make them cooperate with me, and I had to cooperate with them too. Okay, like for example, I had Form 2 like after break, recess, they call it, and the students don't really respond to the bell at the same time, so they will take like 5 minutes before they come to your class, and I'm not supposed to be going out there, yo, come to your class, it done 10:40, come, time for social studies. No, what I did, I work with their schedule. So when I'm planning my lesson, I work with their schedule, because I know that they are not going to come to the class the exact time, because that is the culture of the school. So I had to work with that. Okay, I know it sounds like funny, but I had to work with the culture of the school. I can't just bring my own thing and say, well, this is how it's supposed to go. The class at 10:30 and I wanted to be there by 10:30. No. Okay, because the principal, let's not go there. Another thing again, especially the Form 4 students, they were like, miss, me not got something for myself. Me not got something for my own. I had to make them think on their own, because I don't want to go there and tell them everything, or let them go on the computer and tell me exactly what is written on Google. They had to be able to explain things in their own words and analyze and all that good stuff. So it's not like they were like, makes you think this is America, you think this is America. I'm like, no, this is St. Vincent. And listen, I'm just trying to teach you. I had to explain to them that I am doing this so that you can, you know, so that you can learn off of your own and not just taking everything that a teacher says, not just a teacher coming to the class and telling you everything. You have to be able to analyze on your own. And I got them to do that. I got them to think on their own. I got them to give me definitions. I use a lot of concept development and so on. Sometimes they were like, I know I was frustrating them sometimes, but I had to. Alright. Yes, I use a lot of role playing form too. I role play a lot for them. Okay, my form 4 students, I role play for them, especially when I was doing telephone etiquette. Them didn't want to do it, so I did it too. Because I plan my lesson for them to do telephone etiquette, for role play the thing in groups for me, and they pick me them, they're acting so shy. So I'm like, I role play give them. They love it, you know. And that's basically it. I found that a lot of things worked for them. Okay, so yeah, so that's my teaching practicum experiences. I can't think of anything else that I learned that I can share with you, but all I can say is what helped me was to get to know my students and going to my lessons prepared, going to my classes prepared. Okay, getting everything organized, your charts, everything, your projection, your PowerPoint videos, everything. So that even when assessor comes, the assessor won't have to be there screwing up your face and whatever. Because if the assessor comes to a class without you planning your lesson, it's a 0. Because you don't have a lesson plan. Even though you go to the class and teach, there is no lesson plan. But I have to admit, sometimes I went to the class without lesson plan because I knew when my assessors were coming. Because one of my assessors was a teacher at the school, the deputy principal at the school rather. And I was able to predict when my social studies assessor was coming, because something always saying to me, Nikita, prepare your lesson, Miss Lady coming today. And I'm like, okay. So I have to admit I was always prepared for my lessons, and yes, y'all will be getting the news that I passed this thing with an A+. Alright, so one more thing before I go. Before I left, the last day I was at the school, my form 4 students, my business students, they presented me with this thing. Teacher, you great. Alright, and I really appreciated they presented me with this and a little gift thing, a little gift set thingy. I was really impressed because I wasn't really expecting anything, you know, from those students, because, you know, they had the worst to say about me, but they love me. Let me just read some of the things that they said. Well, I don't know if they love me, or I don't know if they love me, or if they were just glad to get rid of me. But on the last day I went for my teaching practicum, they presented me with this and they gave me all sorts of speeches, you know. At that moment I was like, yeah, but I was glad to leave too. I even know, because I was glad to leave because they were glad to get rid of me. That's why they gave me a good send-off. So one of the students, she was like, thanks for teaching me. Another one was, thanks for your good works. Another one, won't miss you. That's a lie. Another one, great job. Another student was like, best practice teacher out. Another one was like, thanks so much for teaching us. Another one was like, thanks for the time. Another student was like, you was a kind of good teacher. Now for this student who said you was a kind of good teacher, I said, young man, tell me, kinda. Me was kinda good teacher. What do you mean by kinda? He was like, well, miss, you know, I can't say nothing positive, you know, I don't really speak positive stuff, but I just try to. I'm like, okay, good. But you get in there, at least it's a kinda good teacher, but yeah. Yeah. So yes, I want to thank you guys for stopping by this video. If you're thinking about going to teachers college, you know, just go. If you're already in teachers college, you stay there. Teaching practicum is not no hard thing, okay? Although some of the assessors might come to the class and they're gonna be there look stuck up, you know, like don't pay them no mind. You go to your class, you do have to do padded lessons, you know, get your everything prepared and all that good stuff, get everything prepared, plan a lesson. Include all the students in the discussion for sure. You don't want to exclude no students, okay? No student left behind. Include all the students in your discussion. When you're doing assessments, do as much assessments as you can so that you can check their learning and so on. So yeah, this was a very long video. Kudos to those of you who stayed the entire thing. Yeah, this hair is keeping me so hot. I crocheted my hair on Saturday and it is keeping me so hot. I don't feel to take them out already. So yes, so it's exactly like 18 minutes because I see the countdown there. So yes, I want to thank you guys for stopping by this video. I really appreciate it if you watch it through the end, okay? Thank you guys for stopping by and have a good time in the world. And remember that Nikki loves you. I love you. I love you, okay? Yeah, so that's my video for today.